Hi, David Wallimann here. Thanks so much for watching this video. Thank you for the comments that I'm getting on the previous ones. We are in session number 3, and today's masterclass is a little different. It's a little scary for me to do this one because it could either go pretty well or terribly wrong. The reason is I'm not going to edit this. I'm not going to cut it, and I haven't really planned this particular masterclass. I know the topic, but that's all. I didn't know what I was going to say after pressing the record button on my camcorder. I don't know what the middle section, the teaching section, is going to be structured, and I don't know how I'm going to exit this video. So there's a lot of unknown, but there is a reason behind all this, because the topic of this video is improvisation. On the guitar, obviously, but I think there's some lessons to be learned when we are put in a situation like I am right now, where you really don't have much prepared. The camera's there, you're there, I'm nervous, and that makes my speech a little different. Even more so, English is my second language. My first language is French. I've been in the States long enough so that I can communicate effectively, but still that adds to the difficulty of making such video. And I think it's the perfect example here, because when you are doing this on your guitar, guitar is not your native tongue. It's something that you learned, that you picked up, and you're still learning. We all are. So it's very appropriate for me to do this as an example of improvisation. Hopefully we can gather some clues as to how to effectively improvise as I'm doing this exercise, as I'm trying to manage my nerves, as I'm trying to resist the temptation to stop the camera. There's a lot of parallels that can be made on the instrument. For example, if you're recording, you can be tempted to just stop the recording, go back, and re-record what you improvised originally. Well, it's no longer an improvisation. You're no longer playing, communicating in the present. Okay, enough of that. I'm going to make one cut in this video, and that's just to change the angle. But then we're still going to improvise everything, and I think you're going to gather some interesting concepts. So grab your guitar. I'm going to grab mine, and we'll get started. So here we are with our guitar, which is our voice. Music is a language. You know that. We all know it, and I really mean it. I don't mean it as some artists say, oh yeah, music is my language, but they don't really put much thought to it. There really is a connection between language, communication, and music. Words that you're using to express ideas are musical phrases, licks. One word after the other creates an idea. A musical passage conveys an idea to the listener. Several musical passages together can create a story, and so forth. And if we look at language, speech, you have a main idea that you want to communicate, and you're communicating it with a lot of smaller micro ideas. Again, this is completely improvised. I'm not scripting this. I don't really know exactly the outcome of this video, but instead of focusing too much on the outcome, I'm focusing on micro concepts, micro stories. I'm saying a sentence, and I'm pausing after because this is completely improvised again. So my speech is a little slower. I'm thinking of the words that I want to use. And during that silence between my phrases, between my speech, I am actually thinking about what I'm going to say next. So let's take a language. Music is made of several languages. That's how I kind of see it. Several languages. Just like communicating, I can communicate to you in English, French, German. There's different languages in the human language. Same with music. So we're going to take the pentatonic language. It's a scale shape that most of you know. Let's work in the key of A. A minor pentatonic in the first position. We all know that position. 2 notes per strings. We have 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7, 5/8, and 5/8. These notes are part of the pentatonic musical alphabet. And from that alphabet, from these notes or letters, you can make words by taking some of these notes one after the other, and that'll create a word. That's a word. I could say that word fast, slow. I can say it excitingly, or kind of sad and mellow. All those things can be done in real speech, right? I can tell you the sentence, I saw a tree. Really excitingly, I saw a tree. Or sad, I saw a tree. Or, you fill in the blanks. Same with music. A word can have different emotions attached to it. And so that's one thing that you should remember when you're playing. And I'm considering this exercise as an exercise that you're doing alone. You, your instrument, communicating ideas, learning how to communicate effectively. Improvisation is best worked on, I think, when you spend time alone developing your skills as a communicator. So that's for words, but now these words need to be organized into ideas that lead somewhere. Just like me right now, I'm talking about improvisation, and eventually, hopefully, I will get to an end and exit this part of the video, this teaching section. That's where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm gradually getting there. Same with music. So I've got one sentence. I'm saying this sentence right here. Today we're going to talk about improvisation. I'm pausing. I don't know what's next, but I'm thinking about what I just said. And what I just said is, today I'm talking about improvisation. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to continue with that idea and gradually bring the listener to one of the concepts that I want to explain. For example, words. I'm going to talk about words. So I said, today we're going to talk about improvisation. I'm pausing, and during that pause is important because the listener can think about what I just said. He's got the main idea, and that gives me, the communicator, a chance to think about my next sentence, and I'm going to gather clues in my previous sentence as to what I'm going to say next. Today we're going to talk about improvisation. Improvisation is the ability to tell a story without knowing the outcome of the story. For example, you see there was a train of thoughts. It's not like I said, today we're going to talk about improvisation. I had a sandwich for lunch. No common thread there, right? Always that common thread that you find in the previous sentence. Musically, it would be something like this. Let's say that this is my idea. Pause. My next idea is going to gather clues from that. You see the common thread there? Some of the common threads were, I'm using the same musical alphabet, which in this case is the A minor pentatonic in its first position. Another one is the tempo that I used. My first idea was slower tempo, kind of a mellow feel, and I'm responding with the same feel. This is the same person talking. It's not like there's two people with different personality where one is mellow and the other one is kind of like upbeat and excited. See what I'm saying? That doesn't flow well. So think about all those things, and the pause is very important. It gives you a chance to think about what's coming next. And if you do that, one idea that leads to another one, to another one, to another one. Each time you bring the listener to a new place. Not completely new, but you're directing him gently without him knowing. If the listener feels that he was teleported from one idea to something completely different, like a Star Trek type of thing, you know, the teleport thing where you go in, this is where you were. And then suddenly you're here. It's like, what? What happened? You've got to bring him there. Always consider, and I don't mean this in a bad way, this is going to help you. Always consider that the listener is not as engaged as you are with your music. When you're playing this, you already have all these ideas in your mind. Before playing this, you knew that you were going to be in that zone of the fretboard. You kind of had an idea of the choice of notes. You knew that it was going to be kind of bluesy, so you're conditioned for that. The listener is just like someone who grabs a book at the library, a book he's never read, and just reads the first page. He has no clue what's going on. So you've got to bring him in and set the mood. Set the mood. It's very important. So consider that you're talking to a 2-year-old that doesn't really know all the vocabulary you know. If you think that the listener is not as, I'm going to use the word clever, but that's not what I mean. I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I mean it more like if you consider that the listener is not speaking in the same language that you are, or he's foreign, okay? He's foreign. You're going to kind of dumb down your speech. And dumbing down your speech doesn't mean that you're going to use like poorly done words, but it means that you've got to think a lot more before communicating the idea and bring the listener to a place where he's feeling more connected. Almost like the listener feels that he's understanding, he's learning your language on his own. Don't let the listener think that you're spoon feeding him everything. Let him think that he's done the work of understanding that thing, where you have done the work. That's the quality of a good teacher, I think, where you're not completely spoon feeding the info. It's not like put your finger here, 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 here. That's the pentatonic scale. Not like that, but instead, maybe you'll say, listen to this. Listen to it again. Now listen to this. Are these two ideas different? Well, the students, yeah, I can hear that. Okay, now listen to this. Do you see our connection there? And the students, yeah, kind of. That sounds kind of familiar. And eventually the student will understand on his own that, oh, so that's what the color of a scale means. That's what it means. He's going to guess on his own, but really, you led him there. So that's exactly what you need to do in music. I'm going to play a little bit, improvise a little bit. Think about these things as I play. I don't know what I'm going to play, but I'm going to play it. So here, and I'm going to slow it down because I don't want to, I want to spend time thinking about what I'll play next. Don't want to burn myself out. So here we go. And so forth. And if I took the very first idea, which I don't really remember what it was, we need to rewind, but it was probably something simple like, if I take the first one and then I paste it right after that, my last idea, which again, I don't remember what it was. I think it was a chromatic thing. These two ideas, pasted one after the other, wouldn't be coherent. But I led you from the opening idea to the last one. That's what you should be doing when you improvise. That's what I had for you today. I would strongly suggest that if you have a camcorder or even a phone, think of a topic, very simple topic. It can be anything. Describe what you did with your kids this morning. That's the topic. Press record on the spot. Don't overthink it. Press record and start building your speech, improvising, and then listen back and think through what is going on in your mind as you're doing that. How did you manage your stress level? How did you go from one idea to the other? Did it sound that it was really chopped up, or was there a flow in your story? And then apply that on your instrument. If you get in that mindset, whenever you play every morning or whenever you have 10 minutes to play, you're going to be closer to who you should be musically. And you're going to discover things about you that you probably didn't know. Well, hopefully that went well. I will not know until I start getting some likes. So if you did like it, please like it. If you didn't, well, just thumbs down. That's fine. Thank you for watching this. Leave your comments below. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to try to upload one new longer masterclass like this every week, and more videos as well. But at least you'll get one lesson every week, hopefully, if I keep getting some good comments. Thank you guys so much. Share this around, like it, and do whatever you want with this video. This is yours. This is your time. Practice well, and if I don't see you before, Merry Christmas. Salut.